Okay, good morning. It's April 28th, 2021. This is the monthly meeting for the Troy Community Land Bank Corporation. Chair, can you call the roll, please?
Suzanne Spellin,
Here.
Brian Barker, Jeanette Nicholson,
Here.
Christina Maribel, Patricia Riley, Andrew Cooper,
Here.
John Cubitt,
Here.
John Carmelo, Albert Watson.
Here.
Do we have enough for a quorum, Kate?
With you, we have 6. That's a quorum. Sorry, Kate.
Okay. I'm gonna call you Kate for the rest of the week now, Tony.
2, 3, 4. I'll be honored. I'm counting 6, right? 1.
Heather, just so you know, my associate with my office, Julia, is on the call as well, observing today. So that's who that is.
Oh, that's what I did. I saw that, but I wasn't gonna be like, all right. No, that's wonderful. Welcome. Let's see. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Okay.
Here comes John Carmelo.
Good morning, John. Is he on yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Morning.
Here we are. All right, so we have in front of us a resolution for a contract agreement between the Troy Community Land Bank and SEAT for 791 River Street. Do I have a motion to discuss? Put this on open to discuss.
Motion.
It's John Cubitt. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, Jeanette and Suzanne are tied. Kate, do you want to go over that with us?
Sure. I was hoping to have it more finalized today. We've been going back and forth with SEAT to get a stronger number for you. And Jennifer Lawrence and Rebecca hadn't weighed in on a final version of the contract. So it says in there's $123,000 number in there. It's actually, more than that because they're going to be the general contractor. So it's probably more like 150. And then we have to bid out some of the work or find subcontractors. So the number really isn't today where I want it to be. And for you to approve it. So
We're going to table this?
Well, not table it per se, but I want to, I guess the problem is getting the work going, right? We need to do it sooner than later. And so what I think I'm going to have to do is finalize the contract, make it subject to board approval at the next meeting, because otherwise we're probably going to have to call a special meeting just for that. So I don't know what you want to do for that. Yeah.
I'm okay with a special meeting if the remainder of the board is, because I think time is kind of the essence on this.
Indeed, we got to get it done.
Yeah.
So what is your timeline, Kate, that you're thinking that you'll have it ready?
Well, it's fluid, right? So you're not going to get a contract with a perfect number in it. So what I really would just like to do is, and maybe we approve what's in front of you today for the scope of work, and then I'll amend it. And then, with the numbers, and then we'll come back and we'll do it. That's an option as well. But, I wouldn't be rushing through this if we didn't need to start work. Do you know what I mean? So,
sure.
And quite frankly, until we know what subs we need and what quotes we have from them, I'm going to have to come back to you anyway, right? Because we won't have that for a while. So,
right. Well,
so do you want to prove what's in front of you, and then I'll come back with the amended? I mean, we're probably looking at what, Tony, 2 something total?
I think it was 220, 230.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
I think, and considering all the information that we have, all the cost estimates, just in the process of estimating the damages, I feel like we're already very well informed. Let's see
I
here.
mean, you know, what you would be approving today is the scope of work that SEAT is going to perform itself, right? So that
Right.
$123,000 is for them to get in there and do their work. In addition to that, we're going to add general contractor fees, which was somewhere around $26,000, I think George said, so that they can help us procure the contractors and also manage them. So that's kind
Okay.
of a phase 2 anyway, you know what I mean?
All right. Yes.
So I can come back with that once it's more firm.
Does anybody have any questions for Kate or Tony on this? And if not, do I have a motion to approve as Kate suggests? I'll make
Well-
the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, all in, let me go read down. Suzanne Spellin,
Aye.
Jeanette Nicholson made the second. Andrew Cooper,
Aye.
John Cubitt,
Aye.
John Carmelo,
Aye.
Albert Watson.
Can you do me a favor? Can you just tell me
Sure.
what is SEAT and what do they do?
Oh, Seed is our partner. When you remember when we met and we said all this other agreement there, well, actually, Kate, go ahead. You can give him a better cliff notes on Seed.
Okay, I mean, the last
Or
couple
can-
meetings
go ahead.
that, you know, we've had, and I think you've been privy to them and the information on rehabbing 791 River. This is a substitute contractor. And we have a co-development agreement with them to finish the project. It's just that simple.
Okay.
Well, then then there's the other part of SEAT, which is they provide us with organizational support. So they're kind of,
Okay. I think that's what's confusing me because I know you talked to me about something else that they did. I didn't. Okay.
so they, yeah,
Okay.
they do, they play two roles.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay. All right. So all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next in front of us, we have a resolution, a change order for Bobo Construction for 11 Winnie Ave. I'm gonna make a motion to put this on the table for discussion.
Motion.
See. Right,
So I'll lose my voice again. So this is a $12,500 change order to stabilize the back foundation wall and do some other work as it relates to the two decks and stairways on the back of the building. This is the change order that we've been waiting for weeks and weeks for Russ Reeves to get into the city. So this will be the last element of work on 11 Winnie. And once that's done, we should be able to put this on the market and hopefully sell it for a good
Would you
price
like me to-
relatively quickly.
okay. Does anybody have any questions?
So this was not, we weren't surprised by this change order. We were just waiting for details. Is that the, Just
Well,
about-
we were surprised that there was the need, when they demolished the old back porch, that's when the bad foundation revealed itself. So that part was the surprise. But it has kind of been lingering. The remedy to the surprise has been lingering for Reeves to finish his engineering work to get into the city.
and what is it that we're doing?
Um,
Just curious. What's the
well,
repair?
It's on the back end of that resolution.
Is it, I'm sorry if I'm,
That's okay.
No, that's
It-
okay.
I
It's,
mean-
I can describe it.
yeah,
It's essentially removal of the back wall, and the two quarters of the back wall, you know, so the kind of the two sides and the back. And rebuilding, I believe rebuilding the foundation footing.
so the footing, just take, the whole thing's coming out, basically, the whole back
Yeah.
side.
Yeah. And slight amendment to how the back decks were going to be constructed as a result of the need for
Sure.
this.
Yeah. All right, just curious. I'm sorry I missed that. I do see there's a few details there at the end.
Okay, Andrew, it's hard not being together and this with the Zoom and all the emails, and it's it presents a challenge, but all right, let's see here.
So much of the resolutions and stuff are boilerplate. I often am like skimming through trying to find what actually I should pay attention to. Like where's the actual, where's the
meat?
Yeah, where's the
Yeah.
meat?
Where's the beef?
Generally, that's in the attachments that no
Yeah.
one reads.
Yeah,
Yes.
thanks. No,
I
it's
love
true.
the honesty, though. I love it.
Sometimes I only scroll so far. I'm like, oh my God, it's 15 pages. Why?
All right. If there's no further questions, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, Suzanne Spellin. Jeanette Nicholson,
Yes,
Andrew Cooper,
Aye.
John Cubitt,
Aye.
John Carmelo,
Aye.
Albert Watson,
Aye.
all in favor. Okay. Any opposed? Mr. Tazi, the board is yours for discussion on the city property disposition list.
So I circulated, well, there's a couple things with this. I circulated a spreadsheet with 2 tabs. The first tab shows properties that Acquisition and Disposition Committee took a look at and said, yep, that looks good. Let's submit it to the city. Since they met, I was able to get more information about some of the properties. And I had a little bit more time to reflect on some of the properties, which raised my anxiety. I think the anxiety is just the unknowns. So I put together a second tab, and I'm still kind of mulling around what's the best list to submit to the city to have to start a conversation with. So that part was circulated a couple of days ago, and then day before yesterday, I believe. Yeah, day before yesterday, I had a meeting with TAP, which I thought was going to be just a conversation about the possibility of TAP getting involved in building not tiny homes, but smaller homes. And the conversation, surprisingly to me, led to a request for us to put 4 properties on our list when we submitted to the city. 2 of the properties would be vacant lots that TAP would like to do a small house on. And the other 2 are proposed to be part of the Urban Studio Initiative by one of the professors involved. So, let's see, let me pull that up. So what TAP is requesting is that we add 472 10th Street and 106 Ingle Street. Those are the vacant lots. And they'd also like us to add St. Mary's Avenue and 1260 Fifth Avenue, which are both, I believe, 2-family structures. So I was kind of looking for guidance from the board as to how, as a group, everyone felt about the original list versus the revised list. And then on top of that, TAP's request.
Can we start with what the process would be? You say opening a discussion with the city, and regardless of whichever list and whatever properties, a discussion leading to what exactly?
The last time we did this was 2019. And we submitted, let's see, how did this work? We submitted a list to the city, and then we started to have some conversations about it. And that list turned into a list A and a list B. And generally the way both lists worked back then was the city was giving us some properties that we thought had good value. They had pretty good value, not as good as we thought. And kind of bundled that with properties that we knew we were going to lose money on. And we had enterprise community funds as, definitely as additional financial protection. And then the B list included a building that's a gorgeous building, but it needs $500,000 worth of work to stabilize it and to really renovate it. And the city bundled that with another building on Old Sixth. Both buildings were on Old Sixth Avenue. And the thought was, if the land bank can afford to take on the B list, we'll do that. But as it turned out, we just don't have the financial resources and couldn't find any out there to be able to pull it off. So this time around, I think it would kind of be the same thing. Hey, Property Disposition Committee, here's a list. Here's our thinking behind the list. Let's have a conversation.
And the goal is the city donates these properties to us?
Yeah, that when they changed the property disposition code in 2019, we don't have to apply anymore, not the traditional way. We just submit a list and the city makes their decision. You know, the committee makes their decision, city council goes along with it usually. And we receive these properties at $0. So our costs for acquisition are simply closing costs, which runs a lot less than $1,000 a building.
Is
So-
it primarily, is it primarily Steve Strikeman who we're negotiating with, or does he? have-
Yes, Steve is my point of contact at City Hall, so it's Steve that I primarily contact. You know, I think Sharon Martin would, I think, be considered the head of the committee since, you know, she's the city assessor and that's
Right,
where these properties come from, essentially. So, and I'm not sure all who's on the committee.
yeah. And
Eric Ferraro, I believe, is on the committee.
the code guy?
I think he is. I could be wrong.
So just if you're interested, I can walk you through a scenario, you know, about what this might look like, you know, on paper, that I've done in the past is, you know, and going back to my point of what's in it for you. Hold on, Suzanne got kicked out. Okay. What I've done in the past with things like this, if the board wanted, you know, to work with TAP and see where this goes, you could enter into an option to purchase agreement, very similar to what we've done with Beacon, where we will acquire it, but TAP has to pay, you know, either an upfront fee or the something, you know, that's equal to the cost of maintenance of the property and the administrative cost to managing all of this. And then, you know, it would be open for a period of X time. The only concern with that, and we could put additional language in an option agreement, is that, you know, let's say we get to the end of 2 years and TAP decides, nope, we're not moving forward. So then we're kind of stuck with 2 vacant lots we might not be able to sell. So I think you have to consider, you know, with these lots, could you sell them or could we have an alternative purpose? Or in the option agreement, we can make it more of an option and holding agreement where we'll hold it for a certain period of time called the option period. And if TAP does not exercise their right to purchase within that time period, whatever it is, then the drop dead date, they have to buy it, right? So we can hold it for them as long as possible. But, you know, my only concern, you know, on a legal end is you're holding it for 3 years and then they say, you know what, nah, you know, so you know, that's kind of what that would look like and what you need to think about. So I just put that out there.
Barb Delson's request was essentially for the land bank to hold on to the properties, to give them time to do their due diligence. So I
Yeah,
think she was thinking something in terms of about a year. I don't think it should take that long, but that's what I thought I heard her say.
Well, again, it's no problem holding a property for really any length of time, provided, we're still here. But the real issue you want to really decide is if they don't buy them, what then? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I agree with, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I don't think we should wind up being responsible for them. I mean, holding the bag, so to speak, if TAP doesn't follow through.
There would
Yeah,
always be a
I
risk of
just-
that though, or at least they think so. Otherwise they wouldn't be asking us to,
Incur that risk.
yeah.
On their behalf?
behalf.
Yeah.
They're concerned, and sure, you would always be, right? Concerned that something could come up with the properties.
Well, TAP isn't designed to hold property either. You know what I mean? And to
Okay,
be
yeah,
a-
sure. Yeah.
a property owner, there's liability, that's what we do. So, I get it. There really would be no other reason they would really even need us. But they probably figure, if they made an application to the city, maybe they've got to pay something versus, getting it from us at a lower, I don't know. But those are the things you need to think about. And, we can put something in there that, we'll hold it for X, but you got to buy it. Because otherwise, what would we do with it? Would we be able to get
Right.
rid of it?
Right.
Tony, aren't several of the properties that are on their list dedicated to the RPI program?
Two of them are 8 St. Mary's Avenue and 1260 Fifth Avenue, Brian.
And then the 2 Park Avenue, right? Wasn't that on their list too?
Well, there's a bill, 17 Park Avenue is a building.
Oh, it's a different,
Yeah,
Property.
7 Park Avenue is the one that we currently own that's slated for demolition
yeah.
to
Yeah.
enlarge that development area.
Yeah, I guess I'm remembering the email wrong. I thought it was like 7 and 9 Park Avenue
Yeah,
that she
a lot-
had on her list.
A lot of folks are getting 17 and 7 confused, so it's
Yeah.
understandable.
Yeah. So I don't have any reservations about reserving properties for the RPI program, just to get that, moving. Personally. I mean, there's two RPI studios kind of working in parallel. There's the design studio, which is concerned with new construction, and then there's the building science studio, which is more concerned with building technology and research and renovation. So they're both going to need properties not in the future. So
Where would the funding come from to do the new builds?
it's basically the Habitat CoDev.
Oh, okay, got it. All right.
Yeah, our involvement really is just to transfer the property, sell or transfer the property over to Habitat.
Right. Yeah, basically 4 partners, the RPI doing design work, TAP being the architect of record, community liaison, land bank providing site control, and then Habitat being the constructor. So 3 of those parties already work together. RPI would be the new partner with the hopes that it brings some additional design expertise and to the neighborhood.
Okay, so I would think the expectation of that CoDev, and maybe I'm assuming wrongly, but that we would absorb any cost, holding cost for the property.
I think that would be that's our role really in the partnership piece of it. Tony, correct me if I'm wrong. As the memorandum of understanding is kind of evolving, that's sort of what our role is.
Yeah, for the urban studio, that is our role. That's,
Yeah.
I mean, the agreements haven't been finalized, but that's generally the way they're drafted.
Okay. But then there'd be another property outside of that, right? That TAP wants.
Yeah, then TAP is looking for those 2 vacant lots. So there's two properties that TAP has a direct interest in. And then the other 2 buildings that someone in addition to TAP, Brian, what's Chris's last name?
Parkinson.
Okay. He's part of the RPI team, and he's interested in the 2 buildings for use by the urban studio.
All right, so you could do the properties in the CODEV with the understanding that, you know, the holding costs, and again, we're not talking a ton of money, you're just talking, you know, vacant lots with, you know, some mowing the lawn, maybe some snow, insurance, but that's all like, you know, appropriated through with multiple properties. So when it boils down to it, you know, it's probably a couple $100 a year. It's not huge. And then maybe with the other 2 for TAP, you know, you talk to them about an option agreement, an option fee. We'll hold it and they can do whatever due diligence they'd like to. And then, you know, at the end of it, if they don't purchase it, that's where you got to figure out, you know, are we going to be able to sell those? Are we going to make them buy them anyway and then figure it out? I mean, that's the back end piece of the TAP properties.
Obviously, there hasn't been time to have a dialogue about those details.
Well,
I
I
will say,
Oh,
go ahead, Kate, I'm sorry.
no, I was just going to say, you know, we're just discussing making requests for the list, which will be due, I think you said Friday. So I don't think it hurts to request what we want to, and then it'll all shake out later. And maybe we won't take certain properties, you know, but I think today's meeting is about making that request, right?
Yes.
Yeah, if our request isn't leading to any level of commitment with any party, then why not? Like, at least take the next step.
Right. I got to run title. You know, there's a lot of
Yeah.
things that we got to do before we would come back and say, here's the final list. Can you please approve the acquisition?
Would we anticipate the city approving the whole list, or is there like a line item veto on this? Like, well, I got your list, but here's
Well,
a different list. Like, I mean, is that how
Well,
this would proceed?
Well, like I said, it's kind of a conversation. The last time it was a bundle scenario. The way the code reads is we submit a request and the committee makes a recommendation to the city council on what they think the city should provide us. I know the last time there was there were 3 properties of value, and we ended up with 2 of them. The other one sold for a very high price, and the city decided to keep that one for themselves. Understandable.
Yeah, I mean, so they're getting away from the whole question of the co-development lots and things. With the list, they sort of acknowledge that they have to give us some good stuff to get rid of the stuff that they'd be stuck with otherwise.
I think that was
That's
actually
what
their
it comes down to.
suggestion.
Yeah.
I think that was.
Which, I mean, that makes sense on some level, as long as it might be a fine balance there.
In 2019, that was their way of trying to help us financially without providing a direct subsidy.
Right.
The finance committee met yesterday morning, and I've been saying, and I think I've said this to other committees, as part of this conversation with the city, given the fact they're getting, was it $46 million? I would like to open up a conversation with them, you know, about funding for the land bank out of that pot. I know the Schenectady Land Bank is getting some funding from the city from the federal funds that they're going to be obtaining. So can't hurt to ask.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't we ask for everything? Like, I mean that seriously, like, we should ask for as much as we could possibly manage. We don't want to overextend our own resources, right? So, but
Yeah,
unless we're
that's,
gonna offend people and damage the relationship, which, and maybe that could happen too, like if they think we're
Uh,
overstepping.
I
but-
I think they're fine because they understand the process. I'm talking about the city, and then we'll have further to go. They'll try to be fair. I don't think we have to worry about offending anybody.
Do we have time, or does it make sense to get input from our realtor on any of the properties, or have we already?
we have some, I was hoping to get more, but, so I went around, with our drone guy to take a look at all the roofs, just to see what conditions they were in. And, Irving joined us, for about half the day when we did that. So he probably got around to, we couldn't get to all the buildings that day, so Irving probably saw about a third of them, and we started in North Troy and on Northern Drive and headed south. So, but it would be worth a conversation. I did ask him if we could connect on this. And he said, yes. I emailed him again and said, okay, when are you available? And I'm waiting to hear back from him.
Well, I'm in agreement with what Andrew said too. Just let's see what we get, and then we'll make decisions from there.
Okay.
Anybody else have any feedback?
I agree as well. I think we should ask for whatever we can get. This is both the city and the foreclosure list. You know, the funds and the foreclosure list.
Okay.
And I think it would be a good thing to, if the thing with TAP worked out, I think that would be great for us in terms of a you know, public relations publicity kind of thing as well.
I actually think it would help help improve what our list looks like when it goes to the city, just because it shows partnership.
Yeah.
Okay. So Tony, did you want to make an announcement on the board retreat unless there's any further commentary? John, I think you had to scoot out early before we got to this. John Carmelo.
You mean last time?
Yeah.
I think I did.
So Tony, it's May 22nd, right?
Is it? Let's see. I believe it is. That's a Saturday. Let me check my calendar.
9
So
to
what would you-
1.
9 to 1.
Virtual?
Nope. In person.
Do we have a location?
We do. Tony, you can tell them.
The Tri Country Club.
Oh, okay, right, I forgot.
A light breakfast and lunch will be served.
And they'll be dancing afterwards.
And what was the date again?
May 22nd.
May 22nd, and what were the times?
9
9 to
a.m.
1.
until 1 p.m. Okay. So the committee reports.
Oh,
Tony, I'm going
um,
over go ahead.
Can I back up just one item? I just wanted to make sure everyone received the email
Oh,
that contained the annual disclosure form that the
Was
city
that from
requires.
Mara?
Yeah, it's required by
Excuse
the city ethics committee. I think it's due I want to say May 7th. And it's different this time. It requires, well, it doesn't require, it requests electronic signatures and, just email it back to tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Did everybody get that email from Mara?
Yes,
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I got it.
It's pretty easy to fill out. At least it was for me.
I got it here. Oh, yeah, it's pretty easy. Okay.
Just to check, Tony, did we get back all conflict of interest forms from the annual meeting?
I don't believe so.
And we also need the acknowledgement of fiduciary duty forms as well that were sent at least 3 times that I have in my notes, different emails.
Can you remind me where the acknowledgement of fiduciary responsibility, where that goes to, who that goes to?
That is something required by the ABO, and we have to have it in our file every year. And then the conflict of interest policy is on the back end of, usually on the back end of our bylaws as a, so we have to have those, in hand for compliance. So if you want, I'll send them one more time, but we got to do this.
Would it be possible to let us know what's required of, if you don't have all the forms that you've requested, how do we know? I frankly don't remember. So.
Right. No, normally they go out with the agenda at the annual meeting, and even before that, we start it in January. So it's usually in with the board agenda materials. And, we talk about it at the board meeting, but I think what happens is nobody really, follows up with that. And the financial disclosure is just as important, if not more so, because we actually have to turn that into the city, right? So I just want to make sure, we're doing compliance. So I will resend that again. If you could just sign and scan that, both forms back to Tony. I want to say we did get some of them.
Yeah, I mean, how do we know? I'm pretty sure it'd just be helpful
you're
to
probably
know.
thinking of the board self-evaluation, because we did get those back. So there's a couple different things. And if there's really no record of who did what, let's just all do it again, and we'll
Oh, man.
hold on to that. Sound good?
Sounds good. Okay. So the committee reports, we have the financials here.
Albert, I don't know if you have the financials in front of you.
Do I?
They would have been part of the package that I sent out with the meeting invitation.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, traditionally that's what our former treasurer used to do, is just kind of.
Tony,
Give
why
a-
don't you go over it and show and kind of, so Albert sees what
Well,
Sharon kind of,
Did finance meet yesterday? Generally, it's a report out of the finance committee. What did you talk about? that
Yeah.
kind of-
Well, the meeting yesterday was really Albert's first meeting, so it was kind of a more discussion meeting, I thought, than anything else. But I should let Albert speak to that, since he's the chair of that committee.
well, just from taking a look at the initial look at your balance sheet and your operating statement, you got total income of 61,000, And you reported a net loss at the end of the first quarter of about $23,000. Basically, you had no revenue coming in for the month of March. Your biggest expenses were insurance, Tony's salary, attorney's fees, and some accounting fees. Just when taking a look at your balance sheet, you guys are pretty much cash poor and asset rich. You got a lot in inventory. I don't know. I'm not familiar with how things operate, but I don't know how long it takes you guys to move your inventory. But your balance sheet's kind of like a little bit out of whack. But I mean, other than that, going forward, I'll have some more questions as I get used to looking at your balance sheet and how you guys run things. But for the first quarter, you're looking at a net loss of $23,000.
Where do we stand with the, was it, I want to say it was the last meeting, but maybe it was the one before, where we approved moving forward on the loan?
Yeah, so we did close on the loan, and that definitely helped cover that deficit and more. And
Was that this month?
Yes, that was this month.
Okay, so it's not showing in this
Okay, so it's not on here yet. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not showing it here.
yeah, and so what's happening right now is we're putting money into buildings, and we're not going to see returns on that until those buildings are completed and marketed and sold and closed. So that's why the numbers are dwindling down. And another factor in that was in my last quarter, and I think I've said this before to everyone, when I submitted my last quarterly report to Enterprise Community, I did say we'd like a disbursement sooner than later because we're kind of running into a cash flow issue. And the response was, well, I'm not going to give you what I normally would give you for your next quarter's advance. I'm only going to give you what you have unpaid invoices that you can show me. So that left us with having to come up with money out of thin air, which is why we needed that loan. So we can keep moving the projects forward so they can get on the market. And, at some point we get proceeds from them. And I'm talking to Tanya right now with this quarter's report. And I think she understands the ramifications of her decision in the last quarter. So.
Tony and I did talk last week. At some point, you may want to talk about getting a line of credit.
Yeah.
Because that loan that you got from that finance company is really pretty outrageous, the amount of fees that they're charging.
Yeah, agreed.
But that's pretty much all we talked about. Just
getting the overview. We had to
That
tell
was a
Albert
long
about all the
overview.
different acronyms.
Yeah, I need to. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot on these reports. I'm seeing a lot of acronyms, and I don't know what they mean. Yeah, so that's another thing. Yeah.
I still
Yeah.
don't. All right. Is there anything else?
Is there any questions or anything?
Oh, thank you, Kate. I just got the email. Kate just sent it out to us.
Thank you for acknowledging that. Now it's all on the record.
I didn't see anything. I don't. Might be in my spam folder. I'll have to check.
I mean, you, Andrew Cooper.
I think I sent mine in, but I'll send them again. I don't know.
Well, the important part is that we just retain them, in the books and records of the organization. And, we said on the Paris report that you did. So I just want to be able to back that up should somebody ask.
What date should appear on those forms?
It's okay. You can sign them for today. You can sign them. It's fine.
All right. If there's nothing further, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I just have a dumb question. On these
Suzanne.
forms- If we have to scan them in and then send them back, can we just scan in the signage page, or do we have to scan the whole doc?
And I don't have the capability of doing any scanning at all, so. Maybe
You want
I
to
could-
drop it off here, Jeanette?
Sure,
Okay.
Yeah, you can do that or mail it. Just if you would,
I can pick 'em up.
the fiduciary the one from the ABO with the policy in front of it,
Yeah,
that's a signature that we need. And then the conflict of interest policy, the signature page is really at the end of the policy. So that's the real page we need. So
Okay.
it's just one page.
right.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then the city's form, they're requesting that it be electronically signed.
gotcha.
So that might be tricky for some folks who aren't used to it.
Yeah, I mean, if signing it by hand and, either getting it to us so we can send it over or mailing it, I mean, it's COVID, so, they'll take it how they can get it, I'm sure, but.
Okay. This way we get to see everybody that stops in and says hello.
Person.
All right. I'm gonna try this again. I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn.
I
I'll second.
All right, everybody have a great week and we'll see you soon, hopefully in person on the 22nd of May.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Great.
Thank
everybody.
you.
Enjoy the day.
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.